Hi beekeepers, today I'm going to do a quick look at how I set up my modified Warre hives for winter.
I've already started bringing this hive down to size. What I'd like to do is have 4 boxes for an established strong colony, and the top 2 boxes, which I think adds up to roughly 50 or so pounds, are completely solid full of honey. In a warm winter, they're going to have a bunch left over. And like last year, we had a pretty long winter. It was freezing until May really, and they had a little bit, depending on the size of the strength of the colony, the genetics, if they had a big cluster, small cluster, there's either a bit left over or not too much left over by the spring. It's the middle of September. You could see by the strength at the entrance that there's still a few flowers, and you could really see some of the goldenrod there, and there's also some knotweed not far away. So they're still busy. It's going to cool down quite a lot in a week, so I expect they might fill another couple of frames or so, but I've tried to leave them most of what they need for winter by now. So I have a screen bottom board with a tray. I do see a few mites. There. I find with the Warre, with it being a more vertical style, not too wide, you don't get quite the same number of mite drops that you would with an equal rate of infestation in a Langstroth. At this time of year especially, there could be, I know there's a lot of wasps looking to get in. It's easy to set up robbing. So when I take the top bark cloth off, I like to put it upside down so the bees don't stick in the propolis, but it gives the hive a little bit of protection as you're taking boxes off. So this top box, I know right away, it's had honey in here since June. It's still super heavy. That's great. And this was a split that I made in, I guess, the middle of June. And this hive it came from had pretty high mites. It was on the threshold in early spring in terms of sugar shake, a sugar roll test. So I split it. That set the mites back a little bit, but it's not real dire. The hive's still pretty strong, but I know it's going to need treatment. This is down at the bottom box. It actually only has 2 frames of brood in here. A lot of this box is really just pollen. That tends to happen in my hives, where I get pollen on the bottom. I know in any of the books you read, it's going to tell you pollen's at the side and edges. There's a few references out there to pollen on the bottom. There's a bit of nectar down here too. It's pretty solid. Like, that's the main place they're putting their pollen. So because it's a weird hive, I emailed the manufacturers of Thymovar, and they basically told me, you know, do a half strip per box of brood. So this one only had, this box only had those 2 frames, so I did about 1/3 of a strip. And then on the box above, which is almost all solid brood, I did kind of 2 half strips up there. My feeling is that with the 4 boxes, the full, they also told me it wouldn't be bad to do a little extra, a strip and a half for the whole hive. So I'm thinking that vapors are gonna pool at the bottom, so I want there to be enough to get up to the second box where all the brood is. And since most of the brood is there, I did a little bit more. Since I'm using the Thymovar, I have the entrance wide open. It's still active. The bees are able to defend it. We'll see how that goes a little later when it cools down, and I might still want the treatment on. But you do want full ventilation on the bottom and all other gaps sealed up. The other consideration is you need 5 millimeters above the pad, and this is a modified Warre. You know, I've designed my boxes so there's 10 millimeters between frames. That gives 5 millimeters above the 4 millimeter pad, so the
that the thymol is able to evaporate and work in the hive. If you're using a traditional warre where the comb might be all the way down to the bottom and you're kind of smushing comb against the pad, you might want to check with the manufacturer if they think that's going to work for you or not. But officially you should have some space above the pad.